Hello everybody. Today I'm going to talk about aluminium poisoning because it's become very clear to me that this is far more of a serious problem than I realised, probably like many people. So a very long time ago I made a big choice, which is to eliminate all aluminium cookware from my kitchen. Did that an incredibly long time ago because I know that when you put acid into aluminium you're getting a really disastrous recipe and it's going to go in the body. So aluminium is a cumulative poison, so the more of it you have in your environment, then the more toxified you get with it. So why is it a problem? It's because it accumulates in lots of organs in the body, and I've got a whole list of them here. It accumulates in the liver, the lungs, the kidneys, the thyroids and the brain. And yeah, it's ouch when it comes to the brain, because the brain means if it accumulates in the brain you lose cognitive abilities, you become dumber. This is a really serious issue. So this film is all about not looking at the problem so much as looking at the solution, but just a little bit more about ways that we can be exposed to aluminium. It's in so many places. So for example, aluminium cans. Many drinks are actually kept in aluminium cans, and although they spray coat the aluminium on the inside to prevent the drink from leaching the aluminium out, if that can sits around for any length of time, then you can imagine what happens. That's right, the coating degrades and the aluminium gets leached into the drink. And the worst drinks of all are our famous soft drinks like Coke and Pepsi, because they contain huge amounts of phosphoric acid. So if there's anything that's going to get aluminium into the drink, it's going to be that kind of drink, because the acid is going to leach away at that lining within the can, and it's going to cause that problem. Deodorants contain aluminium. That's particularly bad news for people who use them. Water can be contaminated with aluminium. There was a famous case in Cornwall where the water was found to be contaminated with very serious levels of aluminium. Yeah, aluminium foil. Good God, it's such an easy thing to use, but looking at the evidence, it would be a disastrous thing to do. So what I'm explaining about aluminium is the more you get exposed to this, the more of it gets into your body, it hangs around, and the more there is in the body, the more problems are created, until you get a tipping point. So before the tipping point you appear to be functioning normally, but the aluminium is building and building and building, and once you breach that tipping point you suddenly get all sorts of horrendous symptoms. And the worst that I'm aware of is dementia and Alzheimer's. There's very good reason to suspect that dementia and Alzheimer's are caused for two things: one, lack of hydration of the body, and two, aluminium poisoning. I've left the worst till last. Now there's a posh term for it now. It's called geoengineering. There's a really old-fashioned term which hardly anyone knows, and it's called cloud seeding, but it gives you a clue. We're talking about chemtrails, that's right. So this is a worldwide practice that at the moment no one can escape from. So this being the case, aluminium poisoning is one of your number one concerns. Do you ever go outside and breathe air? Well, yeah, so it's an issue, isn't it? Of course it is. If you eliminate all the other exposure possibilities, you've still got that one to deal with. And finally, research by scientists sampling soils and plants have discovered that it's gone from 10 to 15 years ago there really wasn't any aluminium in soil or plants, to there's a whole load. Serious business. So let's look at the ways we can actually detox ourselves from aluminium poisoning. So the first on my list is silica. I was very interested and excited to discover this, and silica is found in abundance in two commonly occurring plants: nettles. Everyone knows what nettles are. The other one, the Latin name is equisetum, and it's called horsetail. So you can go out and you can pick nettles and horsetails and make a tea out of these, and what that silica containing tea will do is it will take the aluminium in your body and get rid of it when you have a wee. That's the way it works, but it's very clever because it gets rid of the aluminium but it leaves the minerals that you need in your body. So that's a number one. You could also get hold of a proprietary substance instead of using the horsetail and the nettle, as I suggest, as you can either buy silica preparations. That's the other way That was number 1. Number 2 is something called L-theanine, and L-theanine is an amino acid, and it's rich in tea. So tea is a very good source. So this actually ends up being my number 2 and my number 3. So number 2, you could go and buy L-theanine and take it as a mineral, as a amino acid supplement. Or number 3, you could make sure that you drink tea. So if you're going to go down that route, the one that they recommend is green tea, relatively a pure drink and containing plenty of this L-theanine, which is going to get rid of that aluminium from your body. The way these work is they relax and they de-stress and they protect the nervous system. So that's all really great news. And number 4, and it's something called Bacopa monnieri. Now I'm just going to get the spelling of that for you. That's Bacopa, B-A-C-O-P-A M-O-N-N-I-E-R-A. This is an Ayurvedic herb, and it's used for, it's a nerve tonic. It's a nerve tonic, that's what it is. Right, so this Bacopa monnieri, having difficulty in saying it, it's an Ayurvedic herb nerve tonic, and as such that's something else that will get rid of the aluminium from the body. And this is the one I'm most excited about because I use loads of it routinely in my life, and it's called turmeric. So cook spicy food and put a decent amount of turmeric in there. You can't put too much in. If you put an excess of turmeric, you'll discover you get joint pains. So that's the way to discover you're having too much. So make sure you have some but not too much turmeric, and it's anti-inflammatory and has a wonderful ability to detox the aluminium out of your body as well. That's another good one. And then the next 2 are both vitamins. Number 6 and number 7, vitamin C and vitamin E. And I've been introduced to the idea of taking a whole 6 grams of vitamin C daily. And I've been given that advice by a good friend called Shazia, and it feels good to do that. And I live in a part of Britain where there's a lot of chemtrail production going on to such an extent I very rarely ever get to see them because the skies are already covered in the outcome. It took me some time to understand that, but hey, you live and you learn. And then there's a mineral. This is number 8. The mineral is called selenium. Selenium is very rich in the soils of the Norfolk coast, especially the town Sheringham, and people have the longest life expectancy of the whole of Britain there due to this selenium. And it's a mineral that helps you to prevent aluminium poisoning and also to detox. So you could consider having a supplement that contains selenium. That's another possibility. And number 9, and this one was given to me by my guides and my helpers, and this is the pomegranate. Now pomegranates are incredibly rich in antioxidants, so this is the thing I need to explain. What the aluminium does, it depletes antioxidant levels in the brain. Antioxidants are what keep us healthy. Free radicals are what rush around damaging the body. So when you eat a really greasy meal that comes from a takeaway and they haven't bothered to change the oil, that's going to be really rich in free radicals, which is just what we don't want, which is why I recommend that you cook your own food. And the way forward with all this is to go for plenty of antioxidants. Vitamin C is a fantastic antioxidant, and pomegranates are absolutely bursting with antioxidants. That was my number 9 for you. And finally my number 10, and this one was a surprise. Bees produce, as we know, honey, and they also produce something called bee pollen, which is something you can buy through the health shops. There's another product which the bees create called propolis, and they use this for fixing their hives when there's things that need to be mended. So bee propolis is my number 10 for you. Also a way to detox from aluminium poisoning. So there you have it. Aluminium, avoided at all costs, particularly avoid those drinks in aluminium cans. That really is something you can do about, and particularly avoid the deodorants. And don't forget, just if you've got some aluminium foil in the house, get it, throw it in the rubbish, and don't ever buy it again. Why would you do such a thing? It's just not worth the risk. If you have any aluminium pans at home, for goodness sakes, I do hope you don't. straight in the bin and go and buy a pan which does not contain aluminium. That's going to be a really smart move. And for the worst of it, the so-called geoengineering, which is commonly called chemtrails, start to introduce some of these aluminium detoxes into your life and make them a regular feature. For example, the turmeric, the green tea, and the vitamin C. If you were to go for those three, that would make a huge difference to your abilities. And the great thing about the cognitive decline, which is a result of aluminium poisoning, is can be, and it is, reversible. It's simply a matter of reducing your exposure to the aluminium and adding these new substances in your body to detox, and that will make all the difference in the world. Thank you very much.